In previous years, we had always heard one of the reasons why people weren't moving to cloud, whether it was public cloud or private cloud, the top concern was always security. It outpaced anything else. It was security, security, security. This year it was interesting. While we still see security as a top concern in these surveys, it's come down as the number of people who are worried about it significantly. And what we're seeing is an increase in some other concerns as these enterprises are doing more real-world deployments. They're now finding that things like the complexity of these systems is a concern. The availability and reliability of cloud systems is a concern. Things like maintaining compliance if you have regulatory requirements by your jurisdiction or your industry that require you to do certain things to maintain compliance. Those are sometimes harder with the cloud environment. So we're seeing these concerns rise up that were not there until enterprises started doing more larger scale and move more types of applications to things. We particularly find the complexity and the availability concern interesting to us because that's really what Stratus has been doing since its inception. We've always solved availability problems, and we've tried to do it in a way that's very easy. We don't require the technology, and we don't require you to have special skills to be able to implement our technology. We don't require you to make certain changes to your applications. If your application runs in a typical Windows or Linux environment, it will run in our environment unchanged as well. So we look at this as an opportunity for us as a company to actually solve these problems that people are starting to see as they move towards these new cloud implementations. One of the analogies that I think is very similar to what we saw happen with mobile phones is happening with cloud. When we initially had mobile phones, people traded off mobility for call quality. People were willing to have the occasional drop call and lesser quality to basically trade off the ability to be able to do business anywhere. They liked the agility and flexibility they got with having a mobile phone and doing business on a mobile phone. But for those of us that, I was actually in enterprise communications at the time, we were shocked that people were willing to accept call quality so low. The bar really was lowered in order to get a new value prop around mobility and agility. And I think we're seeing kind of a similar thing happen in cloud. People are trading off today the reliability of what they get in their standard data systems in order to move to cloud, to get that greater agility. But I think it's similar to what we saw with mobile phones. It's a short-term trade-off. 10 years after we were in mobile phone, it was now unacceptable to have calls drop as you're walking down the street. People wanted the original call quality in order to get the mobility. I think we're going to see a similar thing with cloud. Right now they're willing to trade off some of the availability that they get in their traditional data center in order to get the agility of moving to cloud. But I think that's going to be a short-term thing. As we move and we get more mature solutions, they're going to want the availability they have in their other solutions, not in a cloud. And that's an opportunity we think we can bring our intellectual property and our skills in order to solve.